It's how it's currently identified,
Yeah.
but obviously it won't be. But I don't know. That's all I wondered.
Sarah?
Can I propose that, in connection with this, that we write to the relevant planning officer and say we notice there are some discrepancies in the planning application, current and retrospective ones, obviously you can detail them out, and we ask them to make sure that the applicant follows the proper planning process and that proper planning rules are routinely, uniformly applied.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Proposal from Sarah.
Something else to that, just about the times for the lights.
Times for the lights.
Yeah, sorry, just if we're doing a proposal.
Light bulbs, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll take Sarah and Andy's proposal second for that.
Yeah.
So all in favour of that comment and delegate to the clerk?
Yeah.
That's okay?
Yeah. Could you just remind me what was Andy about the times?
Just so that the lights are only on, certainly not on 24 hours, but ideally only when the facilities are open.
Right.
Just in case the convenience store becomes 24 hours with the bus come both days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
But I'll just add, because I didn't notice the dates specifically, there's one other that's gone on. Number 4, Woodland Grove, which is that last estate as you leave High Ackworth on the left. They've got a request in for, it's quite a large rear extension, but it's a house that overlooks the field, so there isn't anybody behind them. There's not been any comments from anybody yet. If the neighbours object, the neighbours could object, but it's not going to impact on anybody else. So I just thought I'd mention that now, because we might have to review it before the next meeting.
I'll have a look at the deadline.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much. On that one then we'll move on. So 156, to receive the minutes of the Extraordinary Village Amenities Committee meeting held on the 15th of January 26. Quite straightforward. Matter.
7 minutes long.
7 minutes long. Extensive debate.
That took you 7 minutes.
Can I get to receive those minutes? So proposed and seconded. John proposing, Sarah seconding. Votes in favour of receiving those minutes? Thank you very much. 157, to receive a report from the clerk regarding core budget preparation for the 26-27 financial year. And we've got a nice binder to do. Yeah, please.
I won't go through it page by page like we did last year, because we have, as a council, done a lot of prep work on this already, and I'm sure you've read it inside out and know it like I do now, neither. It's a similar type report to last year, as you've seen. It goes through, and it will be available on the website again for members of the public to review it as it was last year. So it goes through obviously what our year has been like, different challenges, where we're going to end up year end as a forecast, and then it looks at what we realistically are going to be, where we're going to be at this coming year. So obviously, just to call out, there has been a lot of change over these past 12 months. We have installed exercise equipment on Danbury Way. We have refurbed play area equipment at Low Ackworth. And we have taken on a brand new community centre. All of those things are to add and enhance our current village amenities that we have in place for our residents. But some of them come with extra cost in running costs, utilities, things like that. We also have existing buildings like Bow Lane, where they are older buildings and they need a little bit of TLC to make sure that we are keeping the facilities that we do have within decent repair and we can carry on being future-proofed. So I've tried to look at it holistically and put all of that information into the pack. I have gone through, as I did last year, and I've put you some pie charts in because it is a bit easier to understand information sometimes when it's chopped up into bite-sized chunks. And then I have given you at the back the supporting information. So you've got a printout of our Realtis financial system as to this was all completed with data of the December month end. So you've got the financial report where we were at that point. You have our earmarked reserves that we set last year as a council and where we're at with those and what can be released. The accrued spend that we've just looked at for Ackworth quarries, that's from a mixture of SIL and it's from a mixture of the earmarked reserves that we have in place. So that's where they will go from, and then through the upcoming meetings we'll start to give more reports on that, just so you know where that is. And then on the very back page you'll have noticed you've got an A3 pull-out, and that's the full detail of the budget that I'm putting forward, including the two options that we've got. For those of you that were at the meeting on Monday, the clerk's meeting, that was to run through the information to enable you to digest it a little bit more when you received your pack. And then I've answered any questions that I've received since then. The best that I can with all the information, because it has been a long year. So there's been lots of information. And I think that is about it in terms of what I need to let you know, because everything else you will have read in the pack. So I'm happy to answer what questions I can for the information that I've got in front of me now, Chair, if you do want to open it up.
Yeah, so thank you, Gemma, for everything you've done in terms of the budget. And can I just say throughout the whole year in terms of tracking the budget, and I do believe we're on 102% income for the community centres and everything, that's been pushed largely by the staff team, so we're seeing an excess of what we budgeted, which is always good to hear the growth. I'll open up to the rest of the councillors to comments then, and obviously we've got two proposals in here as well, so for our consideration. Are there any comment? Yeah.
That's last question. So you're saying the income's at 102%, the expenditure is at 99%, but we're planning to overspend by £2,000.
Yeah. How does that work?
Yeah. Is that just forecast and
So it's one of the reasons that we had the meeting on Monday to go through the data. This year we have gone hard on the grants, and we've also had the insurance claim on the cemetery. Because as a council we've not necessarily done grants in the same way that we have this past year, the financial software that was set up the budget, it was set up where it doesn't allow you to easily transfer in earmarked reserves, so it all comes in as income. So although it's showing that we're at 102% income, some of that is grants and some of that is the cemetery, but obviously we've then spent it out as well. The problem that I've had with the data this year is that I haven't then been able to export that information out to look at the true data in terms of what the budget's tracking within. So I've had to do a lot of work with the RFO services that we've got in place, going through in detail what we've still got left to spend, what we're still anticipating for income to get to that figure. So the report itself in black and white doesn't allow you to see that information clearly, which is why obviously we had the extra meetings to run through that in a bit more detail, because I knew it would be harder to digest, because it was hard for me to digest this year. It's been fun. The good news is that when we set the budget for this coming year in April, it's literally a switch on the system that will set up the budget for this year that will include that and allow for that. So unless we have something like the cemetery insurance claim again from a third party, it will allow us to track and then export that data out where you have earmarked reserves that you bring into the budget, or we have donations, or we might sell equipment and bring that funds into the budget, but we'll be able to see it a lot clearly in the black and white reports.
Okay, thank you.
Sarah?
Yeah, I just want to say that I think it's extraordinarily good that we've come in, with just £2,000 overspend, given the challenges this year.
Yeah.
In regard to lots of things, staffing and a whole lot of other things. I think it's very, I think we are expecting it to be a lot more. So I think, Gemma and the team have done incredibly well in managing the budget. And yes, what's that? Actually, but Gemma does all the
day-to-day,
the detailed work and gives us the proposals. So I think it should be noted what a good job has been done
100%.
on the budget.
100%. Are there any other? I could see people looking, so trying to spend the time.
just send us that straight out. This is to this one, and then move to 158 for the actual budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'll just ask a question.
Ellen, yeah.
In the budget proposals, where does the variance come from?
So let me just get to that page. So basically, what we do the process is we look at where we were at for December month end.
Yeah.
We project out what we've still got left to go. We take those figures. We then add in any extra bits and pieces like maintenance that we have to build in, like Ackworth, Parish, and expenditure, all of that side of it. And then we look at the utilities and the services and what's likely to need inflation, make sure that's included, and then that gives us an end figure. We do the same with the income, so obviously you can only project out from what we're based on for this year, and then that's the variance. So how much we need to spend versus what we think we're going to have coming in.
Have we come to variance? Sorry,
That's what we're going to discuss next.
Okay.
So there's two options that I've given you. No, it's not stupid at all. Because I live and breathe it and I work with it day in, day out, that's the only reason I know it inside out. So what I've done is I've put two options forward. So you've got option one, which is the variance as it is, and then you've got option two, which is freeing up some funds that the parish council may be able to put towards it to lower it. But the variance inevitably will be something that is discussed on the precept to increase the precept.
Beyond what's proposed in here already? Or is the precept in here including that variance?
Including that, yeah, the precept is included in that figure as an income amount, yeah. So without an increase on the precept, that's what the variance is.
That's the bit I was.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Are there any other comments coming forward or questions or? No. Okay. So we're receiving that report. So we'll receive that. So 158. Consider for approval the proposal budget for financial year 1, April 26th to 31st March 2027.
Yeah, so we've received no counter proposals because obviously I've had to give them that to you in 3 days. So at the moment these are the only two proposals.
So there's only these two
forward.
proposals
Yeah.
in the pack. Okay.
Andy? Well, if we're at that stage, I'd like to propose that we go for proposal 2 with a reduction in the contingency down to 5 months.
Yeah.
Because I think given all the pressure people have got on cost of living, if we can keep the precept down, increase down a bit, but given the pressures we've got, and I had a chat with Gemma, because there's things like potentially if we get old holes, we might need to put some fencing up.
Absolutely.
And if we go for 5 months, it leaves us some flexibility to be able to manage things that may come along, something like that, which hopefully we'll get. And need to. I've no idea what we need now, we should have cost, but I don't imagine it being cheap. But who knows what else could come along in the year. And if we're up at the end, great. If we're not, gives us the flexibility. So that would be my proposal.
Absolutely. Just one little note, if we can all just stay on for a year, because we haven't got a budget on that one, so just keep turning up everybody.
We'll take the lead from somebody else.
Yeah, you come to one meeting in the next 12 months and make you put the same.
Sean, yeah.
Just a second, what happened?
Yeah. I think from all the work that Gemma's done with all councillors, I think that we've all come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
Reducing the contingency to just ease up the funds a little bit, because so so Andy's proposed proposal number 2, seconder for Lynn or Shoreditch, and votes in favour of proposal 2 then. All in favour? Yeah. Thank you very much, and thank you, Gemma, and the team as well. The whole team's got.
We did it a little bit differently this year, so if there's any further feedback on this process, please keep giving it to me and I'll keep doing more each year to make it easier.
I mean, I have to say, I think this is really good, and I'm not good with phones.
Can we just check, have we looked at 157, 158, 159 from there? Just
Are we supposed to approve
twice, once for the budget and then for the precept.
That's what Martin's going to do now, hopefully on 159. So we've just finished
Yeah, we're just on
158,
158,
which
yeah.
is to agree the proposal, and now we have to go on to agree the
So yeah,
precepts.
my next one is 159, yeah.
But it's the same document information.
Well,
It is the same. I just don't do two
I thought
reports.
we were approving the whole thing.
I have to do it into agenda items lawfully.
Yes, that's what I
Yeah.
mean.
But that, yeah, but
It
she's got one
feels-
note.
I feel like we've done the cart before the horse,
If,
because I thought that proposal was about the precept.
So that's just, so that's about putting forward so that's the proposal from the budget reports that we've got, so proposal
And the
to,
precepts there as well, Chair.
That's
So I've
more
done it,
technical,
I've done it as two, so you can see it as a clear picture, but
Yeah.
you technically have to repeat the process twice
Yeah.
for
yeah,
order to
so that's
be-
159, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sarah, yeah.
I'm just on to this point, as far as I understand, the very strong guidance verging on instruction is that you don't build your budget around your precept. You decide on your budget. I mean, obviously we do it the way we do
That's
it,
what I'm saying.
but technically we have to approve the budget
budget.
first. Then we have to say, well, yes, then this will be the precept increase. Because that's the very, very strong advice from, I think, everybody really, that, you know, to do that Gemma deals with local government finance. But that's the way you have to do it. You can't say, we want a 6% precept, therefore this is what our budget's going to be. Is that my right, Gemma?
You are correct. I understand where the confusion's come from. I put it all together so you can see it holistically, all of the impacts. Technically, the 158, what you've just voted on, is a budget with a variance of £27,805.11, but we just discussed the precept at the same time. Now what we have to do in this agenda item is we have to say, okay, because we've accepted that budget proposal, what that now means, and we have to go through that it's a total increase per house and it's a total percentage increase of that.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that this is the budget here, and those proposals relate to the precept, not this budget, do they?
Yes, so there's,
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually,
Because
rather
these
than-
are the figures,
yeah,
the
I
income
put the
and the
proposed one percent, we
expenditures
go for number two,
Which we're
because that
agreeing
actually was
in
159.
158, and 159 is which precept proposal?
Technically, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my proposal was probably wrong,
Yes.
158.
We've just jumped.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you were agreeing,
sorry, yeah,
with this
yeah, I get it.
Yeah, sorry,
before,
yeah, I was looking
Go
at
again,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Chair, the difference is on this proposal 1 and proposal 2 is that proposal 2 depends on us reducing the contingency to 5 months, not from
Yeah.
6 months. That's the difference.
Yes, so technically it's proposal 2, which is that report, but with a reduced contingency, which is what we've agreed, as we've got to the details, if that makes sense.
I've tried to make it really super easy and I've confused it more. So Susie is right. This agenda
Yeah.
item is to approve this budget, all of this
Yeah.
expenditure. So that's what 158 is for, is to approve that, but it was the same expenditure in proposal 1 and proposal 2. Does that make sense?
I mean, you keep talking about the variance, we're proposing to have deficit, but surely that's contingent on the precept that you put in here.
Yes.
Yes, so
You
we're about
can't do that, can you? You can't say I'm going to approve the budget with a deficit of 27 because you haven't voted on what the precept's going to be.
It's just the way round you have to do it. You have to set your budget first to say that this expenditure is true and that we're going to put the 13,000 towards it, which creates a deficit of 27,000. That's 158. And then 159 is, and how we're going to cover that is, we're going to cover it by the, in proposal 2, which is a levy of X, Y and Z, but because I've put it all on the same page for you, thinking that it was easier, I've created some confusion. So that's feedback for next year then. Does that now make sense?
Yeah.
Kind of.
For a procedure point of view, Chair, so if we could just redo that again so that everyone's aware that 158 is agreeing this budget that's in place, and it's about putting the £13,000 towards it from general reserves. So that's what was detailed in proposal 2. So that's technically what Andy and Sean have just voted on. But you've done it with the understanding that you're going to do it as option 2, which relates to that on the precept. So now we do need to take an
Yes.
official vote on the precept.
which is what we're about to move on to. Okay, doke. So 159 to decide upon the precept to be levied upon Wakefield Council for financial year 26-27. So this is the second part of like the proposal, which is where the levy's going to come from and the use of reducing the contingency. So can I go for the same proposal and seconder again, Andy and Sean? Yeah. Votes in favour then, please.
So can I just confirm what this is the 10.43% increase we're voting on?
So this is the 159, so this is the precept level and reduction of the, so yeah, the second part that makes the whole thing. So votes in favour then, please. Thank you very much. Item 160, to receive a copy of the internal auditor's interim report for the financial year 25-26. So this was part of our packs, again by April Sky again. I think once again, well done on a successful audit, gentlemen and the team. I do believe we've got some additional comments to make
Yes,
though
if that's
on it,
okay.
so I'll just hand over to John.
Yeah. So the one that was up in the pack, if you go to page 9, it had 3 recommendations. So nothing was red flagged, nothing stops us from operating that we do, but we also get recommendations. So they're on page 9. And I've actually had an updated version from the auditor, because the last one under the sales ledger, it actually was something that had already been resolved at the point of audit. The information was in the folder of the auditor. So when we've pushed back on it to say actually that was a matching scenario and you had proof of the match, it had already been resolved. So we've actually taken it off the report. So it had been resolved before we were audited and it's obviously resolved now. The other 2 agenda items, I'm sure that you've read through them already.